I hired an alien iRacing coach for a full 12-week season to see if it could actually fix my driving, and honestly, the results kinda shocked me. For the coach, I chose Bernardo Faria, not sponsored by the way. He's a 10k plus iRating driver who specialises in the Porsche Cup car, whom I found through Aidan Pole's videos, and you may have seen also, and also through the PCup Discord. I wanted to see what would happen if I committed to him for one session a week across a full season. So here's the context. I have limited time to race, as many people do, and some weeks it's almost impossible. I started the season at 3012 iRating, feeling I hit a bit of a wall, and over the 12 weeks I only managed to race on 7 of them, completing 15 races in total. But despite that limited track time, the structural changes to my driving and my mindset were massive. Every session followed a strict routine. First, a quick track overview, then we'd hit the track at the same time so conditions were identical. Bernardo would lead for a few laps to warm up tyres, calling out track quirks over the radio like stay off the curbs here, late apex there, etc. Once the tyres were up to temp, he'd shut up. I'd leave a gap and I'd put down 3 to 5 hot laps. Then we'd hit pit and dive straight into the data. In the first few weeks I was routinely over a second off Bernardo's pace. He'd break down the telemetry, highlighting my mistakes, but also validating what I did right, like my consistency, oddly enough. He'd even take in-game screenshots and use MS Paint to illustrate complex concepts, like how a curb's specific shape affects the car under braking. As an example, hitting turn 1 at the Red Bull Ring aggressively while braking completely upsets the rear, especially when the winds shift. However, if you dip your left wheels just off the curb and brake, you can brake more aggressively without upsetting the car. After the data dive, we'd do another run to apply the changes. Funnily enough, my lap times rarely improved during the actual coaching session. Trying to adjust to a new muscle memory on the fly while a 10k driver watches and judges your every move was a massive mental game. But that pressure turned out to be a blessing. It taught me how to block out distractions in actual races. When a faster car was breathing down my neck, I stopped panicking. I stopped focusing on them, and the stress melted away, and I just executed what we had gone over. The real lap time gains came later. During my solo practice sessions, once everything was dialed in, depending on the track, I was finding anywhere from half a second to over a full second a lap of pace. Our main focus was driving lines, opening up corners, maximizing track width, and curing my bad habit of turning in too early and running wide on exit. Missing track limits by just one car width adds up to a massive time loss over a lap. It's funny how you can feel like you're on the absolute limit until a coach points out the obvious road where you're just leaving a gap on and leaving time on the table. This didn't just net me raw speed, however. It saved my tyres over the course of a stint and reduced my error rate. At Long Beach, we got so granular we analysed which specific bumps at turn 5 were safe to clip and which ones would throw the car into the wall. Now you might ask, why not just use a free tool like Garage 61? Trust me, I love Garage 61, but filtering through variables like track temp, fuel loads, setups, and not knowing whether a lap was set behind another car utilising the draft, especially on long tracks like Spa, makes exact comparisons tough. With a live coach, you're comparing like-for-like conditions in real time, plus you learn how to spot your own mistakes. I started recognizing when I was overdriving a corner and compromised the next sequence, allowing me to self-correct mid-race rather than ruining an entire stint. Stats for nerds! I love stats, so let's delve into some. At the start of the season, I started at 3012 iRating as I previously mentioned, and after 15 races I finished with 3682. That was a gain of 670 iRating, which is not bad I think. I averaged a massive 44.4 iRating gain per race in top split Porsche Cup, which is no mean feat. My pace metrics tell an even bigger story. In Season 1 I was about 0.9% off the fastest lap in my races and about 1.6% off the average pace. In Season 2 with the coaching, that shrank to just 0.4%, which is a gain of 0.5% off the best lap, and 0.9% off the average lap time, which is a gain of about 0.6%. That pacing shift completely changed my confidence. I used to see a 5k driver in my mirrors and get nervous. Now I see them as a fun challenge. On my good days, I'm outright faster than them. And you've seen that in some of the recent videos. I even secured some poles, a string of podiums, and my very first top split PCup win, which I've linked in the description below if you want to take a look. By the end of the 12 weeks, the initial 1 second gap to Bernardo shrank to on average of about 5/10, which was a decent gain. So let's talk about the cost. Is it an investment? Yes. Over 12 weeks it adds up. But pound for pound, and I'm not lying when I say this, it is the single best bang for your buck investment I've ever made in sim racing. I own some high-end gear, and no high-end wheelbase, hydraulic pedal set, or rig upgrade comes close to giving you this much speed and confidence. Even Bernardo mentioned that my pace is well ahead of my current iRating, and with more time, 4K is easily achievable. Only time will tell on that one. So if you're on the fence, I highly recommend looking at a coach and booking a session with them, be it Bernardo or someone else, or just to see how it shifts your perspective. If you enjoyed this deep dive into my coaching journey over the last 12 weeks, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment down below. And let me know, are you considering a coach or have you used one before? And let me know how you got on with a coach. And I'll see you in the next video.